and welcome to Third Eye Thinkers. I'm your host, Megan Benanti.
And I'm Michelle Welch.
Thanks for joining us today. So today we want to discuss managing anxiety and doing that psychically and how we do it in our process. So you want to start with your crystal?
I do. First of all, I wanted to say that anxiety is probably one of the biggest things that I get asked about with a lot of the people that I'm reading for. Lately, it seems to be on the increase. So before I talk about my crystal, I want to just read one quick thing, if you don't mind. It's very, very brief, and it's from the American, let me say it right. No, the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. It's the ADAA. I never can remember the letters, what they stand for, so I have to read it. So Anxiety and Depression Association of America, ADAA. And it says anxiety, and these are disorders. Okay, so it's going to be an umbrella of general anxiety or anxiety about social situations, so social anxiety. Okay. There's, a couple different types of anxiety, but they're kind of grouping this all under the umbrella. And it says anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the U.S., affecting 40 million adults in the United States age 18 and older, or 18.1% of the population every year. Anxiety disorders are highly treatable, yet only 36.9% of those suffering receive treatment. And the term anxiety disorder refers to specific psychiatric disorders that involve extreme fear, worry, and it does include, like I said, general anxiety, panic disorder, panic attacks, agoraphobia, social anxiety, and some other things. So it's that umbrella term, some other things.
I was just thinking agoraphobia. Is that like when you're afraid to farm?
Well, yeah, I get my agras wrong.
Agoraphobia,
I always
get
them mixed up on every show, I think. I think it's going to become a thing. How am I going to mess this one up this time?
No.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But I thought what was interesting is it's also, they do those studies, and they have this percentage. Those are probably people who go in and they know are falling under that mental health category and are getting treated. But think about the same with many disorders or many things that go on that affect us. It's probably higher in some instances because they're not always reported. The people are not always going and seeking help. So I thought that was pretty important to know that we are talking about something pretty serious and pretty much that's going on in our country right now, because there's some pretty high numbers, right? So anxiety in its most severe form, or maybe not most severe form, but if it's not just a passing, I'm worried about this. I'm worried, I'm briefly worried, am I going to remember what to say right now? That could cause me a moment of, pause or anxiety. Right. But when it really is getting to be something that's affecting our lives, we probably are going to want to seek some sort of treatment, potentially, somebody to talk to for sure. So my crystal suggestions are really an additional supplement. They're becoming more and more prevalent. Even the medical communities is realizing not just crystals, but these alternative forms of treatment to supplement the other things that are going on. So it's up to you to, and every time we talk about these things, it's up to you as a listener or watcher to decide to use these as supplement, not in place of. Okay, so I always need to say that. It's very important to me because of some things that I know do go on where somebody will tell somebody maybe go off your medication or something like that. I'm never going to say that with crystals. Never, ever. So that's that long diatribe is what I was trying to get to, is that I would never say use the crystals in place of a severe anxiety. However, I did bring lepidolite. Now, you guys, there are so many minerals. There's over 4,000 known minerals and then the compounds thereof. So it's hard to learn all the minerals and the crystals. And so it's interesting that I tend to be repeating a couple on our shows. But I think I've done lepidolite before. I can't remember for sure, but here we go, because it is one of my favorites. I know I've mentioned it. Lepidolite is actually, and I'm going to see if you guys can see the one I am holding up if you are watching, And if not, I think I probably I'm sorry, Anna, I just threw you on that. This is a beautiful piece that we just got. It's not tumbled. It's in its raw form. Do you see all the crystal inclusions in it? Do you see that, Megan? It's
I
just
would turn it
glittery.
around too, because I
Thank
think
you. You're right. So see, if you can't see this, I'm going to describe it. They come in a variety of colors, but typically it's a kind of a lavender color, and in its raw form, and they can have pink, but the pink inclusions in this are actually red tourmaline.
it's beautiful.
And so this
Really
piece
beautiful.
is just absolutely beautiful. And then I also brought some other pieces. I'm gonna see if I can carefully put that down without messing up their table. I brought some tumbled pieces of lepidolite to show you, and to explain, to describe to you. Again, kind of pinkish, purplish are the colors that I would go to. Why lepidolite? It's because it contains lithium. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That is where it's a source of lithium. It's one of the primary sources of lithium that they'll use in the lithium quartz batteries, they'll use in medication. And so it is very, very soothing. There are other crystals that contain lithium. Hiddenite, which is green kunzite, contains lithium. It's beautiful also. And another one is called lithium quartz. Oh, and I did want to show you guys. We started this line. I just started it because everybody will come in and they'll say, I just want a bracelet for somebody who needs to, they have anxiety, or somebody is really having trouble with self-love. So we have a line called Soul Healing. It's brand new. They're very simple. And this is a lepidolite bracelet, and the lepidolite beads are not so easy to get. They're a little bit more expensive. And on every one of them, these healing bracelets, I'm going to put a little piece of two little pieces of hematite. So lepidolite is something I try to wear almost every day, and because it does calm me down, because I do tend to have some anxiety. All right, but the lithium quartz. Now it's interesting because and I think that Anna had this one, for those of you watching, had this picture up earlier, the lithium quartz. I'll describe it to you. It's quartz that has lithium in it, right? So it looks like a quartz. But this guy, the one I brought right now that I have and that I'm showing, if you can see me, I never want to say a crystal's not very pretty, but he looks like he's kind of been through it. Right?
He is not a beautiful crystal.
He's not beautiful.
But that's okay.
You wouldn't walk in and go, "Oh, that's the prettiest one. I'm going to get that crystal." But the thing about the lithium quartz is that's so interesting, and I am proof that this works. Okay? I thought it was baloney when somebody told me this first.
Okay.
All right. At the very top, and on other ones you'll see it in different places, there'll be maybe a darker area. Do you see that, Megan? The darker area. The more you hold your lithium quartz and you work with it, when you have things that you're trying to release that are maybe causing you anxiety or depression or fear, this quartz will take it on. And I'm not kidding. It's not like a mood ring that just goes back and forth and you don't know if those things really work. It really will. It will change colors. It will become darker and darker and take on and I'm telling you, I know it for a fact because I worked with them a lot. You can also put these under your pillow. So I brought a couple of those to show you because they do run a little higher in cost, because quartz, depending on what they're included with, their prices are going to vary, and depending on their formations. But the lithium quartz do run a little bit higher. We do have, for those who don't want to pay maybe as much, that we do have the tumble pieces that do still have a little bit of lithium in them. And so they can hold them. And what I would recommend with the crystals, just briefly, so that, Megan, you can talk about your plants, I would recommend, if you have pieces, hold one in each hand and just close your eyes and meditate with those crystals. And if you don't know how to meditate, just hold one in each hand and just close your eyes and try to calm your breathing down. And just calm down the breathing. I know when I suffered from a panic attack, I felt like I was having a heart attack. It was about 20 years ago, a true panic attack. And I literally was hyperventilating, and getting control of that breath is the very thing that they help you do. They help you get control of that breath. And so doing that with these crystals in your hands can really, really help to calm you down. Again, maybe not to take the place of other things if it's severe anxiety, but anything with lithium in it, and all of these do have lithium in them, will really help with anxiety.
Well, and crystals also, I mean, they do just add beauty to your home. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And, you were talking about medication. Well, lithium is the medication for manic depressive disorder. And so that, and that's finding that balance in between. So really, really cool stone you've got.
Right. This is a really special piece. For the one I'm describing, it looks to me like almost like cotton candy that you just want to, with glitter all over it. So I don't think you'd want to eat cotton candy with glitter on it, but that's how it looks. It's just shiny and pretty. And it's got the pink in it. It's just gorgeous.
Rock candy.
Rock candy. It
That's
looks like
what it
that
looks
too.
like. It's rock candy.
It is rock candy.
Purple and pink, and just super soothing.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful piece. That's an awesome one. So, and that is available at Soultopia, right?
All of these are, yes.
Yeah, awesome. So, cool. So I brought in for a plant, I brought Ginko Biloba. And ginkgo is a tree that originally started in Asia, and now it's grown in many places. I planted one in my neighbor's yard, and that's a picture of it there.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it really is. It's a super sturdy, slow-growing tree, but I mean, we were talking really slow-growing. But that promotes health and longevity in trees. So generally, your slow growers are going to be your hardier trees, and you'll have them for a long time. Now we work with the extract from the leaves, and the leaves look like little fans. And a lot of times you'll see the leaves in fabric designs, especially if it's of an Asian influence.
Oh, wow.
So it's a beautiful shape to it. And I don't have a picture of just the leaf for you. But ginkgo was kind of cool. So it contained a lot of different vitamins, and I was really excited when I was researching it, because I was like, oh, I take a lot of these vitamins already. And so these are things that are going to help to decrease anxiety. And so some of them, let me go through the list here. We had calcium, and calcium's a natural tranquilizer, which I was like, oh, that's why when I have a huge bowl of ice cream, I can't do anything else.
There we go. That's the reason, you guys.
Yeah,
it's the calcium.
Right, exactly.
And, it's a tranquilizer.
Yeah, I know. I never would have guessed that. So,
But it kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah,
because when we're down, we kind of want to eat ice cream sometimes.
Yeah, ice cream's our go-to. I mean, every movie has a girl and a quart of ice cream. But I'm like, why waste your time on a quart when you could have a half gallon?
Why?
Yeah. So it also has
on our next show, we will be talking about crystals for losing weight.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, it's got magnesium, and that relieves anxiety, tension, nervousness, and spasms and tics, which is also kind of interesting. It's good for iron deficiency, and because a lack of iron can lead to panic attacks, and so this is going to help with that. Because it's got fluoratics in it, and that's a natural source of iron. Contains vitamin B, which is for normal nervous system functioning, vitamin C, which is vital for dealing with stress. And, we tend to think of taking vitamin C when we have a cold. Well, colds are usually stressful, so that's going to be part of that. Vitamin E, which we normally take for our skin to look youthful, it also helps to transport oxygen to the brain and to protect from free radical damage. And so ginkgo contains all of those, as well as zinc, which has a calming effect on people. Okay, so what else did I find interesting about it?
May I ask you while you're looking? Yeah. With the tree itself, it looks like a beautiful, really vibrant green. You said you couldn't describe the leaves, but I was thinking the tree actually is so vibrant and green.
It really, it's a beautiful green color. That particular tree, though, I will say is a bit nitrogen deficient. So the leaves on that tree are slightly more yellow than they are in the natural environment. I just think he needs to fertilize his lawn. But there's a tree down the road from me that is a little more green rather than yellow. But it is a really nice, rich color of
yes,
green.
it seemed
And
like
the
a really
leaves are
pretty-
kind of thick.
Yeah.
So interesting studies done on Ginkgo biloba. They also use it for dementia and Alzheimer's. It helps to improve memory loss, and it also helps people to recover from strokes. So, again, that calming effect is something that's going to work with people on this. And if you're thinking about improving memory, a lot of anxiety is like the fear of forgetting things and not knowing what's going to happen. And so this is going to help to alleviate a lot of that. But at the base of what it's doing, it's going to increase oxygen levels in circulation to the brain and to the tissues. And so
Right.
that's going to have multiple positive effects.
It's interesting you say that just briefly, it is interesting that you say that it helps. What did you say about Alzheimer's? It does what?
It helps to
Slow down.
slow down
Okay.
Alzheimer's.
Because many, and I am not a doctor, and again, don't go off your medication if it's been prescribed, but I will speak only for myself in that at one time I did take an anti-anxiety, and I felt like I was sort of having some memory loss.
Oh, interesting.
And so I talked to, she's an MD, but she's also very holistic. And she's here in town in the Dallas area and very knowledgeable. And it's interesting because she told me one of the anti-anxieties that I was on does have that side effect where you will have memory loss. And it even has had some studies to where it has actually become associated with Alzheimer's. It's linked to it.
Wow.
And so I find that very interesting that the herb you're recommending would actually help. So if somebody didn't have to be on a medication and they wanted a natural alternative, can you ingest the
Yeah.
ginkgo?
You will ingest it. They have pill forms, and so it's going to increase that memory retention. Also, what a great thing to take instead of like Adderall for kids in college,
Right.
Because this is what you need. You want to hold
Exactly.
on to that.
And like or Klonopin for anti-anxiety, which is an anti-anxiety medication that is very addictive and that can make you forget things. Again, if you need to take it. But I found that fascinating. I didn't know that because that's actually the direct opposite of what the pharmaceutical could do.
Right.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Awesome.
Well, let's jump right into some readings because
Yeah.
we are already at our halfway point.
Yep. Let's do it.
And so we actually asked for some readings ahead of time. We're trying to get to where we can look at the chat, you guys, while we're on and recording, but I'm not that good of a multitasker yet. So we did have some questions, and this one is going to come from Carla.
Hey, don't discredit yourself on multitasking.
Thank you for saying
You're
that.
doing this at the same
Thank
time.
you.
So,
So Carla asked, she said, I'd be interested to, and this one, I'm going to laugh at you, Carla, if you're listening, in a good way. So you'll laugh with me, I know. I'd be interested to see what the short-term future looks like for me. Next 12 months? Okay. And so I don't think, so in the big scheme of life, that is short-term. But for us, I don't think we can go out 12 months. I think that would require probably a full reading from either Megan or myself.
well, I consider that really long term.
That's a long term to me anyway. I don't know. Sometimes I'm minute by minute. So Carla, I think we'll give you just a general. This is what we see.
Right. Well, and when I do a reading, I'm looking at the 2 to 3 month range, and in a full reading.
And also because we have free will, and so do all the people that are interacting with us. So these things can change, as you know.
Yep. Okay, so this is the Star Tarot by Kathy McClelland. I'm sorry, I keep moving away from my mic. First up, we have 6 of Pentacles, and that's direct. Let me show that to you. This is such a beautiful deck. It's really rich in color. And then we have 3 of Cups. And our final one is the Magician in reverse. And so do you want to start, Michelle?
Sure. I always start.
Oh, do you? Yeah. It's because I'm talking about it. Sorry.
I know. No, I'm kidding. All right. So give me just a moment to
Okay, here, I've got a thought. You
Okay,
absorb.
go ahead.
Okay, so Six of Pentacles. This is calling on your generous nature and your ability to give. And in actuality, in this image, it's not just about giving. It's not a financial card so much as it is to serve. And a lot of times, I even find as a woman, we serve naturally. There's a lot that we give of ourselves. But also remember, with giving, you also need to be able to receive. And so if you're in this giving mode, make sure you're receiving something back for it so that you're not becoming bitter during that time. You've also got a lot of focus on friendship coming up and having a good time. So I really want you to take the next few months to focus on giving and receiving, enjoying your friends socially. Don't be afraid to have a few drinks. In this particular image, there's a strong sense of equality among these women that are shown here. And there's not one that's higher than another. They're all very equal and they all have something different to offer. So that might come up either in your workplace or in your social environment. But I do feel like things are going to come together with people, and that's going to work really well for you. And then also the last card, the Magician in reverse. You might feel a little stuck. You might not be sure where to take the next step. So as you come out of this phase and you move into fall, it might be time for you to take a moment and really pause and evaluate what you need to do before you launch into your next kind of endeavor or your next transition. And in fact, I think you might feel a little bit stuck with that transition. So that might be the time where you actually come in and book a reading or something with Michelle or I, because you've got some. I just feel like there's going to be change coming, and you're going to be like, I don't know how to deal with this right now. So, what are your thoughts?
Very good. I agree with you. I agree with you, everything you said. I will say on the Six of Pentacles, I feel like for you, it goes back. Sometimes sometimes you feel like there's more coming out. I'm just going to say financially, just straight up for you, going out than is coming in. You like nice things. That doesn't mean that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you enjoy the finer things. And I feel like you shouldn't deprive yourself of those things for the someday. The if this, when I get enough of this, then this. Okay, a lot of people, we live that way. When I save enough money, I'll take a vacation. When I do this, then I'll do this. And I feel like that you're worried sometimes or concerned that there's more going out than that's coming in. And what I want to tell you is don't go crazy with it, but I invite you to enjoy yourself. You must take time for yourself. It's not just the financial aspect, it's in the health aspect. You must take time for yourself. Please, I encourage you strongly to take those breaks from whatever it is that is you love to do, but sometimes there's a responsibility, and take care of yourself. Totally agree on the Three of Cups, and isn't that a beautiful Three of Cups?
Oh, it really is.
Just the vibrancy of this card. You need your tribe. You have a tribe. Your tribe loves you, and you need to take time. I'm going to invite you strongly to take time to get together with your tribe, with your girlfriends, with your tribe of people. And again, I sense a transition. I sense, don't lose your sense of wonder. That's a song maybe, but don't lose your sense of wonder and excitement, thinking, well, I'm just on this path alone, and nobody acknowledges or realizes the things I'm doing. They do. And I do know that Carla, I will say this about Carla, one thing, just from Facebook, just from looking on Facebook, on social media, she's a writer. And she is a beautiful writer. And it's just, you just read it and you're just swept away with her writing. Wow. But I do feel there's going to come a time when you do need to share that on more than just a social media platform. I really, really think it would touch a lot of people if you would do that.
Okay, well, taking that into consideration then with this magician here, it's okay if you don't know where to get started. If it's not in the beginning, start in the middle. And this might be looking at different platforms that you can approach with this particular image, and they're all going to make sense. So don't be afraid to just dive into multiple ones at one time. The other thing I wanted to touch on, Michelle, when you were talking about the Six of Pentacles, you made a movement through your midsection, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's something going on with the abdominal section of the body. And so if you are it's Carla?
Yes.
If there's something physically that's happening in the abdominal section right now, and that might be related to an anxiety, since that was the subject today as well, this is time to kind of let that go. And actually what I'm looking at feels like a filter. And so, it's kind of random, but I feel like maybe some kind of cleansing teas might be a good thing for you right now. Whether that's to help sleep better, so you're becoming more well rested, or as a purification through the body. Yeah, and it doesn't feel like something major. It does feel temporary, but I just felt something through the midsection.
Yeah.
So
good. Let's draw. I have just a quick idea. We don't have the charms out. We're going to try those next time, right? We don't have them handy. Let's draw. We don't even need to reshuffle. Let's just leave these out.
Okay.
And let's draw one card as a general reading, quick reading, 1 minute reading on just a word for everybody regarding our topic today, just anxiety. Okay.
The Chariot in
Oh,
reverse.
wow.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, anxiety is the thing that's going to hold you up. And, because that is fear. And if there's anything that holds us back, it is the only thing that holds us back. Unless somebody's physically holding us back, it's fear. Part of the reason, you stop before you cross the street is the fear of being hit. And the Chariot's going to be about movement. So if you're feeling like you don't know how to move forward in your life, you got to remove that fear. And that's what's going to be there. What's your thoughts on it?
I just think what you said was beautiful. I agree. And just balance in there too. Just always remember the balance. You are in control of what you think. You're in control of your thoughts. Even if something really bad is going on in your life, and I've been there, I have, we can get control of our thoughts, and we can try to at least get some balance, even if we have to have some help on that. And I agree with the fear, just to sometimes if we express it and we give name to it and we take it to its conclusion, it's not as bad. It's the worry and concern about what might happen. Right. rather than the thing itself.
The reality.
The reality. So I'm just asking everyone and all of us just to get a little more balance and not just jump to one conclusion one way or one conclusion the other, but just try to consider all the alternatives to balance. Does that make sense? To get a balance in our lives about the love and the fear.
Right.
Right.
And, there's a lot of insight with this particular card.
There's so much. It's beautiful.
There's so much, but there's a lot of sort of magic in this card with all these stars. And that's the one thing that you have to believe in yourself. If you get yourself to a point where you're in the middle of a panic attack, you also have the capability to completely get yourself out of it.
And just, yes.
And it's going to be the exact opposite of what you're feeding into it.
Right.
So, and just remember that, because then you can walk yourself back away from that ledge.
I agree with that. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we want to thank you always for joining us. If you would like to listen to some more of our episodes, perhaps you've missed them or want to tune in the future, you can find us on Soultopia, on lots of social media platforms. On Soultopia, on Facebook, on my YouTube, Michelle Soultopia. You can find Megan at TarotDallas.com. And you can, and on her Facebook, and also on all of the podcast platforms. We are on all of them. So listen in, and until next time, keep third eye thinking.
Thanks.